So let's take it the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and record. I'm going to go ahead and record that MIDI 1 that we have right here. See right there, MIDI 1. I'm going to press the record button. Cursor down to count in. I'm going to do one measure. And let's put input quantized type to grid. And it's on a resolution of 16th notes. So that's cool. I'm going to do a quick loop, which should be 4 measures. And if we wanted to check that, we can hold down Shift and hit the loop on. And we can see quick loop is set to 2 measures. I'm going to put it to 4 measures. And we're pretty much ready to go. All right, so let's record. Make sure my Fantom's in the right octave. All right, here we go. Press play. I have 1 measure counted. Okay, so if we look inside the MV-8800, we actually see that it recorded that MIDI. That was pretty cool. Let's press stop on the MV-8800. Now let's cursor down to the next channel, which is MIDI channel 2. Now same thing, I'm going to hit F2 track parameters right there. And I'm going to use my cursor, go to output assign, and once again I'm going to go to off. I do not want to use the internal sounds of the MV-8800. I'm going to go ahead and go to MIDI. Let's go to A2, which and you can change whatever sounds you want inside the Fantom. On this particular studio set, A2 or MIDI part 2 is bass. So it's pretty much set. I'll put quantize to grid, and let's exit and back it up. 1 measure count in. I got it on grid. Drop my Fantom. Here we go. 1 measure count in. 1, 2. Great. So we just recorded the bass from the Fantom into the MV-8800 and press play. There it is. And if you look at your Fantom, you're going to see that the MIDI channels are flashing because the MIDI information is being triggered by the MV-8800 into the Fantom. So the MV is telling the Fantom what to play. Great. Now let's have a little bit more fun. Now let's go ahead and record the drums of the Fantom into here real fast. So you should be getting the hang of this by now. So track parameter, F2, pop that window open, and now we cursor down to output assign, and we're going to say off. Now cursor down to MIDI, and generally speaking, this is just how the MIDI world works, and this is a historical thing. Drums is usually on 10. You could put it on any MIDI channel you want, but in our example, we'll just follow that protocol, the history, and go to 10. Great. So it's on 10. We'll put quantize to grid. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. And now let's exit. And now in the Fantom, you see I'm actually triggering drums. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and get ready to record once again. And grid is on. We have 1 measure count in. And here we go. So as you see, I just recorded the drums. So within the MV-8800, we just recorded MIDI part 1, which was the electric piano, MIDI part 2, which was the bass, and MIDI part 10, which was the drums. Now, all of these sounds are being supplied by an external keyboard, the Fantom in this case. Now let's go ahead and do one more MIDI track, but this time let's use an internal sound set from the MV-8800. So once again, let's go to track parameters right here, and let's just take a look. So go to output assign. Now this time it says initialize patch number 4. So it's saying, hey, let's use what's inside the MV. So that's great. I'm going to press exit. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to press instruments. Instruments on the MV-8800. Now I'm going to go inside and press menu, and that's going to bring up this little window right here. I'm going to go ahead and cursor down, and I'm going to say load patch. Okay. Now let's press the enter button, and if we look, we can actually see inside the MV, and I'll hit select drive. That's fine, and we can see all of our different folders in here. So I'm going to go inside my patches, press the enter button, and let's go ahead and use look at maybe the synth area. Let's press enter to go inside, and what do we have here? Okay, we got some different polys and different stuff. We're not sure how this sounds, so let's go ahead and highlight this mini MG brass, and let's press F4, which is preview, and it's going to put the patch in there. Now the patch is in the pads, but since we have the Fantom hooked up and the Fantom's transmitting those MIDI notes for the MV, now it's actually in the Fantom. We can play the internal sound sets of the MV using the Fantom. That's pretty cool. So we just did a preview, see if I like it. If I don't like it, let's go ahead and stop that. Let's move to a different one, maybe jump synth, and let's press preview. Once again, it's temporarily loading it. You know what? Let's go ahead and use that one. Okay, and let's exit, and I'm going to go ahead and press F5, and I'm going to load it, actually load it inside here. So it's saying, where do you want to put it? We have the 16 parts of the MV. Now remember, we were in part 4, so let's put it in part 4. And press your enter button or F5 to execute. And now it's actually loading it inside that project and that song. So if we exit now, there it is. It is in our instruments. And now we can exit one more. And if we were to take a quick peek inside that track parameters, we actually see it. There it is. Okay. So let's record with it now. Same thing, press the record button. It comes up. We have one measure count in. Okay, and let's go ahead and rewind and one measure. Great, so now if we look at our example here, we recorded part 1 is the electric piano from the Fantom. Part 2 is the bass from the Fantom. MIDI 3 is the drums from the Fantom. But MIDI 4 is a synth sound from the MV. So remember, we have plenty of different sounds we can do, and this is how you do this. So you guys kind of have fun with this, experiment, and if you have any other questions, just hit us up here at Roland.